Hello, this is Becky Kingsmith, Secondary Curriculum TOSA for the Hillsboro School District. This video will assist secondary teachers in preparing a standards report required by House Bill 2220, which is explained here. Also included is how Hillsboro School District will meet these requirements. In the middle of the screen, you see an example of what the report home to families will look like. It is to be noted that this standards report will include all of the standards assessed and all of the courses for which the student was enrolled in semester 1. Each teacher reports on the standards they taught during semester 1 only as designated by your plan course statement and course syllabus. There is no need to report on semester 2 standards since you have not taught these yet. If you have been assessing students' progress on meeting standards throughout semester 1, you are already prepared for this standards report. To double check, follow the instructions on the next screens. If you have been attaching the standards to assignments but not inputting scores for every standard, the next screens will show you how to input scores and check that all standards have an overall standard score recorded. First, you will want to switch to standards mode. From here, you should see all of the standards you have been tracking throughout first semester listed across the top of your screen. If there are not scores in all of the boxes, you will need to go back and fill in these blanks with scores. If you leave any box blank, this standard will not appear on the student's report. The next screens show you how to go back and enter scores if necessary. To enter standard scores, you can either type directly in the overall standard column or record the score on the assignment. If you choose to type in the overall standard column, this will be the score that will appear on the student's standard report and will override any aggregation method pre-selected for determining a final standard score. If you record standard scores on the assignment, Synergy will automatically calculate the overall summary score that populates in the overall standard column based on the aggregation method you have selected. If you do not see scores in the overall standard column, it is likely due to the aggregation method you have selected for that standard. The aggregation method is the calculation method you select in Synergy to specify how the overall score of a standard is to be determined. If you attach the same standard to multiple assignments, you will need to select an aggregation method in order for Synergy to calculate the final score on that standard. You can select from mean, median, mode, last score, highest score, or power law. The default in Synergy is no aggregation, which means a final score will not appear for that standard. If you have followed the steps correctly, you should now see scores in the overall standard column for each standard. At this point, Synergy now has the information necessary for your standards report. If you have not been tracking standards throughout semester 1, the next section is a shortcut to entering all standards for semester 1 at once. First, you will want to verify that you have loaded the standards aligned with your courses. If you do not have any standards set up, click the Load Standards from Course Alignment. Standards will only load if the course has a planned course statement. It may take a few moments for the standards to load. You can also manually select standards by clicking on the Add from District Standards Bank link. You can always personalize your standards by manually adding your own through the My Objectives option. If you do not have any standards appear when in standards mode, this means your standards report will appear blank. But don't worry, there is another option to simplify this process. This shortcut involves creating a new assignment. You will attach all of your Semester 1 standards to this single assignment. Be sure to put the point value of this assignment to 0. The intention of this assignment is not to impact the student's grade, but rather to assess standards, which is why it is worth 0 points. Also, the assignment category must be set to normal in order for the standards to pull correctly on the standards report. Once you have added all your Semester 1 standards to this assignment, you can copy this assignment and its standards to multiple sections of the same course by clicking on the Sections tab. Verify that you are in Standards mode by looking at the Mode tab at the top of your screen. At this point, you should see all of the Semester 1 standards you linked to this assignment. At this point, you can now enter the student scores for each standard. If you find that a majority of students scored the same on a single standard, you can simplify the process of entering scores by using the Fill Down option. This will auto-populate the column with the same score. You can always override the copied down score by double-clicking on the green arrow. Repeat this process for all of your Semester 1 standards. Once you have a student score entered for every standard, Synergy now has the information necessary to run your standards report. Thank you in advance for all your hard work assessing and reporting on standards. If you have additional questions, please direct them to one of your STCs or building administrators.